Good day and welcome to the UFC on Fox Diaz versus Miller conference call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Brian Grabb. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the UFC on Fox Diaz versus Miller media conference call. UFC on Fox airs live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Saturday, May 5th in the Izod Center in East Rutherford, New Jersey, with 3 hours of preliminary action being broadcast on Fuel TV beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Today on the call, we're joined by the main and co-main event participants from next weekend's blockbuster card. We begin first with Nate Diaz, who takes on Jim Miller in the evening's main event in a lightweight eliminator bout. We're also joined by welterweights Josh Koscheck and Johnny Hendricks, who will square off in the evening's co-main. Reminder, the four-fight main card also features Bruce Polaris taking on Alan Belcher at middleweight, as well as heavyweights Pat Barry and LeVar Johnson. Operator, can we open up for questions, please?
Very good. If anyone would like to ask a question, you may do so by pressing star, followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad at this time. Please make sure that your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Once again, that is star, followed by the number 1 to ask a question. We will go first to Adam Martin of The Score.
Okay, hey guys. My first question is for Josh Koscheck. Before the Mike Pierce fight, you said you weren't, really that excited to fight Mike. Now, is Johnny, a guy that gets your blood boiling, especially because, he knocked out your friend John Fitch?
Yeah, it's a big fight. There's a lot riding on this fight. I think for both of us, it's, winner goes on to a nice path towards the title shot, and the loser goes, who knows? So, there's a lot at stake for this fight, and I feel like I'm ready to roll.
Now, for Johnny, you said you were so excited when you got the call to fight Josh. After you knocked out John Fitch, you said you wanted a title shot. Do you think that, a win over Josh would put you right there with Carlos Condit?
Well, yeah, he's a tough opponent, you know what I'm saying? You don't be number 2 or number 3 in the world for as many years as he did without being a tough fighter. And, that's why I got into the division, is to see if I have what it takes to compete with these guys, you know what I'm saying? And that's what makes it so exciting, is every fight you don't know what's going to happen. All you can do is train your best and prepare your best and go out there and, good Lord willing, you get your hand raised.
Now, just one final question for Ryan Grabb. Can you explain what the title eliminator for the Nate Diaz and Jim Miller fight means?
Basically, a win in this fight will put these guys in the mix. Dana has neither confirmed nor denied whether this will give either guy a title opportunity if they were to win. But a win in this bout, just considering these guys' histories in the division, will definitely put them up in the mix.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, guys, and good luck next week.
And we will take our next question from Keith Sargent of Asbury Park Press.
My question's for Jim. Just wanted to get your thoughts on fighting back home. You think it gives you an advantage?
For me personally, I don't really care where I'm fighting. I'm still fighting a tough, world-class opponent. So it really doesn't matter if we're fighting here in Jersey or in his hometown. It is a little bit of an advantage not having to travel, not having to deal with that is always nice. But when it comes down to really just the meat of it, it doesn't matter. I'm still fighting Nate, and would be excited to fight him, anywhere in the world.
What about family, friends? You have a lot of people. You have a lot of people coming.
Yeah, I should have I hope to have a pretty decent crowd there for me. I definitely feed off the energy, and if they give me a good cheer as I make my way to the octagon, I'm definitely going to get goosebumps and hopefully ride that energy to a victory if I can.
I guess one more for Nate. Do you think it's a disadvantage? I mean, Jim, pretty much a home state, fighting so close to home.
Yeah, I don't know. Could work for him, could be bad for him. Who knows? Let's see.
And we will take our next question from Garrett Dare of Bleacher Report.
Hey guys, my question's for Johnny. Hey Johnny, this is going to be the biggest fight of your MMA career. There's been a lot of hype over around this, and I think a lot of that hype's been done by Koscheck. You know, at one point, he called you Mr. Lucky Punch and even referred to you as Fat Boy. So, do you take any of these comments personal, or is this just a part of advertising the fight?
No, I don't take it any personal. I'll be the first one to tell you I am fat off season. I love McDonald's. I love Taco Bell, you know what I'm saying? But whenever it comes fight time, I'm always ready, you know what I mean? So, no, I mean, I got 12 guys that I work out with every day that say worse things to me, you know what I mean? That's just the nature of the beast, and that's what sells fights, you know what I'm saying? And, no, I don't take any of it personally.
Yeah, so my next question for you would be, you know, the last time you and I talked, you discussed the importance of being a father. You know, you mentioned, you know, being a father was much more important than being a fighter to you. So I know you have 2 little girls and a wife at home. So how difficult has this been on the road, spending time away from them?
It's very difficult, you know what I'm saying? But one thing that I'm very grateful about, and that I know whenever I leave, my wife's going to keep my kids happy. And whenever I get home, they're going to miss me, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that, you know, we fight for more than anything. You know what I mean? I could fight for my honor, I could fight for this, but fighting for my family is the most important thing, and making sure they get what they want. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Thank you very much. My next question is going to be for Jim Miller. Hey, Jim, you know, you'll be taking on Nick in a little over a week, and, you know, you fought at this high stage before. You know, your 3 losses have really come from the 3 top lightweights in the world. So my question would be, do you feel your experience alone will be enough to help you win this fight?
No. You know, experience, you know, Nate has plenty of experience. He's fought, you know, a lot of tough guys. He fought Maynard as well, and you know, it was a closer fight than mine was with Greg. It's going to be, you know, a tough fight for either one of us, and it's going to take the best of everything that I have to beat him, and you know, that's what's got me so excited and so fired up for this fight. Is it's a tough challenge, and I have trained harder than I've ever trained in my career, and feel better than I've ever felt. So I'm just super fired up and excited to finally step inside the octagon.
Yeah, I think any fighter's, you know, main goal is to finish the fight. But if you really take a look at Nate's numbers, you know, you'll really see it. He's only ever really lost when you make it to the judges' scorecards, because he's rarely ever finished. You know, I think he's been submitted once in his career. So is this kind of your goal? You know, the longer the fight goes on, the better chance you have of winning. Is that kind of your game plan heading in, to extend the fight and kind of wear him down?
He's shown he's got great cardio. So it's not necessarily just to wear him down. It's to, you know, just keep the pressure on him and fight like I always fight. And you know, I know that if I control the fight, I'm going to win. And if I let him control the fight, he's going to beat me. So it's doing things my way and fighting my way. That's gonna, you know, get my hand raised. So I'm prepared for a 25-minute fight. You know, I'm capable of doing it, and, you know, ready to do it if I have to. But of course, I'm looking for that, you know, that impressive, you know, sub finish or knockout finish. That's what drives just everybody that steps inside there. They want to hear the roar of the crowd when they finish somebody. So that's what I've been trained to do, to be dangerous. But I'm be just as good off, you know, in the 24th minute of the fight.
Yeah, very good. Appreciate it, guys. Best of luck.
No problem. Thank you.
And we will take our next question from Neil Davidson of the Canadian Press.
Yes, thank you. My question is for Josh. Josh, you had said that you were going to be making some changes, some pretty important changes in your life. You talked about training. You have your own gym now. Can you tell us if you're training at your own gym now, if you're no longer with any connection with AKA, and if you've made any other changes?
Yeah, I got a lot of changes, you know, but, you know, I had a couple of the guys from San Jose coming in and out. I've been, this whole camp, I've had a lot of new training partners that, you know, I handpicked it and flew them in and out. You know, I'd have guys come in for, you know, 5 to 10 days, and then get a new group of guys coming in. So Yeah, it's been a good training camp. Probably one of the better training camps I've had in a while, and the focus has been 100% me. So, so I've had, new striking coaches, personal time and personal attention with, those type of coaches. And, I hired Alan Freed, as being my wrestling coach, and he's one of the, former greats in wrestling, and former Oklahoma State guy, and probably one of the best wrestlers to come out of there. So I think that, I got a lot of good people around me and a lot of people that actually care. So that was the biggest changes.
Okay, thank you.
And we will take our next question from Will Gray of FightHubTV.com.
Yes, thank you. Good morning to everyone on the call. First of all, for Nate, congratulations on your recent promotion to black belt under Cesar Gracie. I don't think your jiu-jitsu is in question to anyone, so I just want to say congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Given that your opponent, also a black belt in jiu-jitsu, are you looking to submit him to make a point by being the first person to finish him and to do it on the ground?
I just train hard, and I'm just going out there to win and finish, do whatever I can. So we're going to have to see what happens come fight night.
Right on. And with a win over Jim Miller, do you feel that you should be next in line for a title shot?
That's what I was told, that's what was happening, so I don't see who else would get a title shot.
Right on. And next, this question for Jim, kind of the same scenario. You both are jiu-jitsu black belts. Would you like to finish it on the ground? I believe earlier caller said Hermes Frank is the only person to submit Nate Diaz. Would that mean something to you to win by submission, or are you just going for the victory however it comes?
I'm training to be able to stop him anywhere, whether it be on the feet or on the mat, and a majority of my wins have come by sub. So if I can create the opportunity to lock something up, I'm sure as hell going to try my damnedest to finish him with it. But he is a tough guy, and like I said, he's only been subbed by Hermes, and that was years ago. So it's not an easy task. So we'll just see how it goes.
Right on. Well, thank you both. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck.
And we will take our next question from Sergio Non of USA Today.
Hi. Thanks for taking the time. First question is for Johnny and Josh. A lot of times when you see two high-level wrestlers go at it, they end up just trading punches on the feet. I'm wondering what you think the likelihood is of that happening this time.
I would say probably. I think this fight's actually going to go everyone, because we're both complete fighters, you know what I'm saying? We both like to hit people in the face, but I believe that it's going to be a little bit of everywhere. Because, the later you go in the rounds, the easier it is to get takedowns and stuff like that. So I think you're gonna see that. You're not gonna see just another boring wrestling match. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna be a fun one for everybody to watch, and I can't wait.
And Josh?
I don't care where the fight takes place. I just know I'm gonna win. So, so if it's on the ground, whatever. If it's standing up, whatever. Oh.
Okay. And, a question for Jim. Donald Cerrone has said that he felt like in their fight in December, in his fight with Nate, he felt like Nate was able to lure him into fighting his kind of fight, that sort of a toe-to-toe brawl. And the Diaz brothers are quite good at that. How do you keep yourself from being sort of lured into that kind of engagement?
Don't let it happen, basically. When we're in there, I'm trying to fight my fight, and that's it. If he's, trying to push the pace or trying to fight and use his length, then, obviously I'm not going to want to do that. There are things that I'm good at, so that's where I'm going to try to keep the fight. I try to approach fighting just go out there and fight and just not let any emotion or any of the outside stuff get into the fight. And I think that's what happened to Donald. Is he kind of got caught up in it a little bit leading up to the fight, and Nate punched him for it. So yes, just go out and fight my fight, basically.
And for Nate, your brother Nick, when he fought Carlos sort of neutralized him by moving around a lot. Are you worried at all that fighters might take that as a template and start that sort of stick and move and running around kind of fight against you as you go forward?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but they don't make you very much that good of a fighter, I don't think.
Okay, fair enough.
I wanted to see that shit.
Okay, thank you.
And we will take our next question from Damon Martin of MMAweekly.com.
Yeah, first question is for Josh. I know, Josh, last time we talked was when you exited AKA, and I just want to ask you about the positivity that you've been feeling with this camp. I know there was a lot of negativity when you left there, but with this new camp, you mentioned bringing in Alan Freed and the guys you've been working with. How much better have you felt just the positivity with your new training camp?
It's good, man. It's good to be finally, after 8 years, to never have to travel and, just stay at home and do my training right here in Fresno. So, there's a lot of positive people around, so it's good, man. I'm in a great place, and I can't wait to fight May 5th and show that, I made the right decision and had the right training partners and the right coaches.
Do you feel like that fresh start is really going to make a big difference going forward? I know you mentioned, you're actually, the last fight it was almost mechanical. This fight, do you feel really excited, the rejuvenation, I guess is the best word for it, as you go through this training camp, and are you excited again?
Well, I feel like that my career might have just got a little bit longer than what it was going to have. I feel like I just added 2 more years to my career because of, being able to not travel to train is a good thing. So, it's a blessing.
Yeah. And a question for Nate. When you were at lightweight before, I know you had a couple fights, Clay Guida, Joe Stevenson, where the guys were, trying to take you down, hold you down. I know, wrestling has been a big part of that. We know Jim comes from a wrestling background as well. What's the biggest difference of the Nate Diaz now versus the Nate Diaz that fought those guys a couple of years ago?
I think a lot of those fights were experience, stuff I had to learn, and maybe I already knew some of the stuff I should have done, but I didn't do them. So I've been working since then. We'll see what happens.
And one question for Johnny. Johnny, part of this new deal with Fox has been a lot more opportunities for the guys to do different things, different sponsorships, things like that. I know you recently had a chance to do some stuff with NASCAR, right into NASCAR and doing some stuff like that. How cool was that experience for you and the opportunity to kind of branch out and do some different things as part of this whole, the chance to get to fight on Fox and actually ride in a NASCAR?
It's amazing. You know what I mean? I watch them every weekend, you know what I'm saying? And finally actually get to meet them person to person and get to feel what they go through. You come back with a totally different experience. People think it's just going around in circles, but it's physically demanding on your body. And, going through those corners and the awareness and the mental stage that you have to have for 3 hours to do something like that is amazing. You know what I'm saying? So for me to be able to finally get to do something like that is awesome. And I'm so grateful that, UFC is on Fox. So now, one day maybe people will come train with me because I was like Tony, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
We will take our next question from Ariel Helwani of Fuel TV.
Hey, guys. First question is for Johnny and Josh. I guess I'll start with Johnny. The New Jersey Commission announced today that one of the judges in your fight will be a former UFC fighter, Ricardo Almeida. And considering the judging issue has been such a big one over the past couple of years in MMA, I'm wondering, do you like the fact that a guy that was just recently in the UFC, do you like the fact that he's judging your fight, or do you have any reservations maybe because, he's so close to the time that you guys fought, maybe had some issues with training partners, et cetera, et cetera? I'll start with you, Johnny.
No, I think that's cool, you know what I'm saying? Because he's going to know a little bit more about the sport, and he'll know what positions really mean, and he'll know what a strike actually lands. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we need is some people like that stepping in there and start doing that kind of stuff. Because they know what it's like to jump in the cage. They know what it's like to do all this stuff. and I think he'll be a great judge.
How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I think it's good for the sport. It gets a perspective of, of a fighter, someone who's been in the octagon and knows jiu-jitsu and knows wrestling and understands the sport. And I think that, as this sport grows, we're going to see more ex-UFC fighters become judges. So I think it's a good start.
All right, thanks. And a couple questions for Jim. It seems like and I know Ryan said at the top that Dana hasn't confirmed that the winner of this fight will be the number one contender, but it seems like from what everyone is saying, Nate gets the title shot. If Nate wins, he'll get a title shot, but it's kind of a situation like we've seen in the past where one guy's fighting for it and we're not quite sure about the other, sort of like Rashad and Phil Davis. Do you think that you deserve to get a title shot if you win this fight, considering the fact that you're 1-1 in your last two fights?
It all, really depends on how the fight goes, I guess. And I'm not on it at all. I'm just focused on our fight, and whatever happens after that is no concern to me right now. But if I can win impressively, then really, who else are they going to put in there? Like I said, I'm not even focused on it. It's really the last thing on my mind right now. I'm just focused on fighting Nate and getting the win.
And if you can you give us an update on how your nephew is feeling?
He's been doing all right. Kind of acting like himself again and feeling a little bit better. He's supposed to be coming back home pretty soon now. He's still down in Philadelphia at the Children's Hospital down there. So hopefully he'll be back home soon, and they can get the transplant finally scheduled and everything kind of out of the way. He's been just a tough little kid.
He's still Sorry?
I wish I was half as tough as he is.
Absolutely, and he's still waiting for the transplant, though, right? You don't know when that's going to happen?
Yeah, no. It was originally scheduled for, I believe, January 25th, and he had some complications, and they ended up postponing it. He had an infection for a really long time. He had C. diff, and finally got rid of it. So now it's just they actually have to run the test again for on him and the donor to see if there's still compatibility. But it seems like they've been making some decent headway with his health issues. So hopefully by the end of the summer he'll have the transplant.
Okay, and just one last one for Nate. Nate, when you look at your career and how well you've done as a lightweight in the UFC, and then, of course, your run as a welterweight didn't go as planned, do you kind of regret that you had that sort of run at 170? Maybe you'd already be fighting for a title or be the champion at 155?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of obstacles I had to take lately, and that was one of them, and I didn't plan on, leaving there. I just left there if I was going to fight guys. I left the welterweight division if I was going to fight guys who nobody knew. When I was fighting at lightweight, I was fighting top contenders like Gallard and Guida, so that's why I came back.
What kind of obstacles? You said you were facing some obstacles.
Well, they were just putting me against tough fights with guys who didn't have big names, like Don Kim and Roy McDonald at the time, so it's kind of rough. So I was like, if I'm going to be fighting people with names at lightweight, I might as well go back there instead of sitting here jumping all over the place, getting dicked around a little bit.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And we will take our next question from Matthew Ross of Bleacher Report.
Thank you. Guys, the question I have is for Jim and Nate. Nate, your brother, he had his MMA career before you started. What was it like growing up with a fighter who was a professional, as a fighter with a brother who was in the UFC?
No, I don't know. It all kind of just happened. I kind of started fighting right after him, so it was just, I don't know. It's just what happened, I guess.
All right. And Jim, you're one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. Is it something where you put in your mind that you want to steal the show, so to speak, and put on a great performance every single time, or is it just happens naturally?
Oh, thank you for the compliment. I just try to go out and fight and do the things that I'm good at. And I know if I'm satisfied and I'm excited about how a fight went, then 95% of the people out there are going to be excited about it. So I just try to go and fight, and I guess fortunately I'm a little bit reckless at times, and sometimes it works out for me in fights. I just do what I'm good at, and like I said, luckily there's a good amount of fans that enjoy my fights.
All right, thank you, and good luck next week, guys.
Thank you.
And we will go next to Dr. Jason of MMA Hawaii.
Hello. Hello.
Your line is open, sir. Please go ahead.
My first question is for Nate. Nate, you can name names if you want. Who have you brought in and to help to I think your grace to help you out with tighten up your wrestling? And we hope to see you in Hawaii real soon.
I didn't bring too many people in, but people did just start showing up, so it was good. This month, Josh Neer came by. He's really good training. He helped me for a couple fights, and Cody McKenzie's out here. Ronda Rousey came out. Crown Gracie's going to be in tonight. And it's just people at our academy, there's a lot of big names, so it's good that people who come in to train. So a little work will help everywhere from a lot of people. My original team, Jake and Gail and everybody's down here helping out. So
thank you very much. And Jim, you already answered the question. I just wanted to thank you for updating us on your nephew status. Thank you very much, guys.
And we will go next to Ryan Smith of MMA Meltdown.
Thank you, guys. My first question is for Nate Diaz. It's kind of a follow-up on what Ariel asked. Nate, this is going to be your third fight since dropping back down to 155. Do you feel like this is your more natural weight class compared to 170?
I think both of them are pretty close. I think maybe sometimes I was kind of small for 70, but I could get bigger too. So I don't know. I feel good at 55.
Thank you. My next question is for Jim. Jim, considering Ben Henderson and Frankie Edgar are going to rematch soon, and you have losses to both of them, if you get a title shot, if you beat Nate, do you prefer which one you want to fight again?
No, not really. I'm a different fighter than when I fought each of them. So it really doesn't matter. They're both very talented guys. I have a lot of respect for either one of them. I'm a big fan of Frankie's. I like watching him fight. I'm always rooting for him. So if I'm picking a guy to win, it's him. But fighting wise, they're both tough fights. They're both really good. So it'd be a challenge to fight either one of them.
Thank you so much. And I got one last question for both Josh and Johnny. What do you guys think a win on May 5th would put you in line for a title shot?
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
Johnny?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said hopefully soon.
Oh, I thought you were Josh. My bad.
No worries.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not worried about a title shot right now. I'm worried about, just getting out to New Jersey, making weight, and fighting May 5th.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
And as a reminder, if anyone else would like to ask a question, you may do so by pressing star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We will take our next question from Adam Martin of The Score.
Hey, this is for Nate. You just mentioned, you've been working with Ronda Rousey, obviously, Olympian in judo. How has working with Ronda made you a better mixed martial artist?
She's great. She came down. She had a lot of cool cool tricks, and she's really tough for a girl, man. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot from her. She's down here for 2 weeks, and she's a cool girl to hang out with. So it was good work.
Cool. And for Jim, in this fight, you're giving up 5 inches of reach and 4 inches of height. In his last fight, Diaz, he peppered Cerrone with a lot of jabs. What are you going to do to counteract that reach and height advantage he has?
Not stay on the outside. Yeah, he's got the reach advantage. So I train with a lot of guys that do have a reach advantage on me, and it's about getting inside and fighting where I can land the strikes, and they're kind of jammed up. Cerrone and I, we don't have that many similarities, to be honest. So to think the fight will go the same way as of now is a little silly. So yeah, I'm just looking to fight my way in my fight.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We will go next to Mike Fleek of Buddhasport.com. Sir, your line is open. If you could please check your mute function, or if you're on speaker, please pick up the handset. And as there is no response, we'll go to our next question. That comes from Heidi Fang of MMA Fight Corner.
Hello. This question is for Nate Diaz. I just want to know your thoughts on Jim Miller going into this fight.
He's a tough fighter, and he's got some good wins. Lost to 2 of the best lightweights right now, so it's going to be a tough fight.
Also, you put your striking on display against Cerrone. Your striking seems to get better with every fight. What have you done to really improve with your striking in your camp?
Pretty much the same thing. Get a lot of pro sparring, and I got a really good boxing coach, Richard Perez, but it just depends on what type of fighter you're dealing with, That guy, Cerrone, was in there throwing punches at me, so that's what happened. So it depends on what you're dealing with.
Okay, this question is for Jim Miller. Do you feel like your wrestling really gives you an advantage in this fight versus Nate?
It might. The guys that have been able to beat him have used their wrestling, but I expect him to have gotten better and learned from those defeats, just like I learned from my defeats. So, it's just one aspect of the game, and it's all how I end up using it. So, really, it's just using everything to beat him, using strikes, wrestling, and the grappling, and fight where I have advantages. So it's going to be a tough fight.
I just have one more question for Nate Diaz. You once said that you wouldn't fight Frankie Edgar because he's a Renzo Gracie guy. Has that changed at all for you, or if you were to actually get a fight with Frankie, would you fight him?
I just met Frankie, and he's a real cool guy. He came down with Ricardo and a bunch of guys, and they're somewhat Hendo's Caesar's cousin, so I'd rather dodge a bullet on fighting Frankie, but I don't know Frankie. We're not like best friends or anything, but I'd rather fight someone else.
Okay, thank you.
And we will take our next question from Sean Alshaki of MMA Fighting.
Hi, this question is for Josh. Last year you were mulling over a move to middleweight. Is that something you'd still be interested in?
Not right now, no. I feel like there was just nobody out there for me to fight at the time, and nobody in the division was stepping up to fight me and saying, I want to fight Koss, so I figured that what the hell, why not take some challenges and step up to middleweight. But right now, there's a lot of good young fighters in the welterweight division that definitely intrigue me to get fights with. So and obviously there's two champions at this division. So hopefully that pans out and gets the division back into the right direction. So there's one champion, and hopefully that title shot eventually.
All right, thanks. And last question for Nate. You mentioned before UFC 141 that you think Nick's retirement could be for real. Do you think anything's changed with him since then?
Nah, he's busy right now. He's got a triathlon season. I don't think he's got really interest in fighting right now. So, as of right now, no.
Good luck, brother.
Thanks.
We will take our final question from Ariel Helwani of Fuel TV.
Yeah, just a quick one for Josh. Josh, when did you join AKA?
When I first started fighting. So
would this be your first fight as a pro outside, like without AKA in your corner?
No, I'll still have Bob Cook in my corner. So you know what I mean. He's always going to be there. So you know, Bob Cook's been coming down to Fresno and training me a couple of days a week. You know, so always have him. Dave Camarello still, you know, even though he's not affiliated with that place anymore, he still comes down and trains me. And then I have Jasper is still in my corner. So you know, I got a lot of new faces, but I still have some old faces that are still involved with my training.
You won't be representing AKA in this fight, right?
You're joking, right?
Well, the point I'm getting at is, this is the first time that you will be fighting not as a member of AKA. Is that accurate or is that inaccurate?
I have a new gym that's called Dethrone Base Camp. So, and that's where I'll be fighting out of from now on.
Okay, thanks.
And that does conclude today's question and answer session. I'll turn the call back to our moderator for any additional or closing remarks.
Thank you very much. Again, UFC on Fox, Diaz versus Miller takes place live on Saturday, May 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. Thank you for attending the call today.